Dear students, welcome to second part of History Unit 5 Social and Religious Reform Movements. In first part, you have already watched about the social and religious reform movement which took place during 19th century, Brahma Samaj and its founder Rajaram Mohan Rai, the main aspects of Brahma Samaj, Young Bengal movement and Henry Derozio, Arya Samaj, Dayananda Saraswati, the aims of Arya Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, Dr. Atmaram Panduranga, Satya Shodhak Samaj, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, and about the contributions of Jyotiba Phule and his wife Savitribai Phule. In this session, we shall discuss Aligarh Reformation Movement, Ramakrishna Mission, Theosophical Society, Sri Narayana Guru Dharma Paripalana Yogam, and Periyar Movement. Let's start with Aligarh Reformation Movement. Here, during the end of 19th century, a new wave of social and religious reformation was set in Muslim society. New changes took place in Muslim society by the end of 19th century. New changes took place in Muslim community, especially after 1857 revolt. Especially after the First War of Indian Independence, anti-British sentiment became strong in Muslim community. As a result, they stayed away from the English education and as a result missed many opportunities that were based on English education. They stayed away from English education, that's why they missed many opportunities that were based on English education. In this situation, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan made an attempt to start a new movement in Muslim society. Aligarh Reformation Movement was started by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. The Mohammedan Literacy Society, established in 1863, started debates and discussions on the issues related to religion, social and political issues. The upper and middle class youth participated in this discussion and started realizing the value of English education. Due to all these discussions and debates, they came to know the importance of English education. Aligarh Reformation Movement was started by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He lived from 1817 to 1898. He declared that Quran is the authoritative book and other works in Islam are derived ones. According to him, all other works are derived from Quran. That's why Quran is the authoritative book. He said one has to interpret one's religion according to the changing situation. Everyone must go on changing according to the changing situation. Otherwise, religion becomes sluggish. He fought against traditions, superstitions, ignorance, irrationalities throughout his life. He said that without an open mind, any social and intellectual development is not possible. He opposed Parda system which prevailed in Muslim society. He gave importance to Muslim girls' education. He opposed polygamy. All these aspects were part of his struggles. He fought against all these Parda system and polygamy. He gave importance to the education of Muslim girls. At the end, in order to implement his ideas into practice, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan founded Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. It was founded in Aligarh in the year 1875. He utilized this institution in the sense Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College to spread the Western scientific and cultural ideas. He spread the Western scientific and cultural ideas among Muslim society. Finally, this institution became Aligarh Muslim University. Aligarh Muslim University was started by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Earlier, it was known as Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. It was founded in Aligarh in the year 1875. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan preached religious tolerance. He thrived for unity among Hindus and Muslims. Hindus, Parsis, Christians donated liberally for the establishment of this college, for the establishment of Aligarh Muslim College, Aligarh Muslim University. Admissions were open for students from all religions, not only for Muslims. Admission was opened for Hindus, Parsis, Christians, and others. The movement created by him, keeping Aligarh as the center, is called Aligarh movement. In this way, this movement is known as Aligarh Reformation movement. These are all about the contributions of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and his Aligarh Reformation movement. Now let's move to Ramakrishna Mission or Ramakrishna Math. Ramakrishna Mission has provided a unique contribution to India's spiritual growth, nationalistic awareness, and cultural development. For the all-round development of India, Ramakrishna Mission has provided many contributions, a unique contribution. Ramakrishna Mission was founded by Swami Vivekananda at Beluru near Calcutta in the year 1897. Ramakrishna Mission was founded by Swami Vivekananda. Advaita Ashrama, a branch of Ramakrishna Math, was established at Mayavati near Almora of Uttarakhand. Here, Ramakrishna Mission was founded mainly to carry the message and thoughts of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who was the spiritual guru of Swami Vivekananda. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a worshipper of Kali and also a priest at Calcutta Kali Mandir. According to him, one has to attain moksha through dhyana and bhakti. His life itself was an example of this model. His life itself was an example of moksha through dhyana and bhakti. He had believed that all religions advocate the same. According to him, all religions advocate the same in the sense all religion gives importance to dhyana and bhakti. He believed that there are many ways of attaining moksha and the God. He said idol worship is inevitable. According to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, idol worship is inevitable. In order to spread the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda founded this mission. Swami Vivekananda founded Ramakrishna Mission. Now let us see the life and contributions of Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda was born in caste family in Calcutta. He studied both Western and Eastern philosophies. After studying the Indian philosophy from different perspectives, Vivekananda started preaching the importance of Indian philosophy to Indians as well as Westerners. He roamed around India for about 5 years after the death of his guru Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Due to this, he could understand the social reality of India. When he roamed around India, he came to know about the social reality of India. He worked to establish a casteless society as he could see that the society was deeply involved with caste-based discrimination. When he observed caste-based discrimination, he worked to establish a casteless society. He also noticed exploitation, poverty, illiteracy, divisions among the Indians. He believed that people should be educated first, then they themselves seek reformation. Education has the power to reform the society. He wanted legal institutions to implement appropriate rules to support reformation. He wanted to introduce various laws for the purpose of reformation. He also wanted people to stop following the Western ideals blindly. He forced people not to follow the Western ideals blindly. He believed it is the duty of the religion to provide light. All religion must provide light. Without this, religion is itself is of no use. According to him, all religion must provide light, otherwise religion doesn't have any use. The one who responds to the poor is Mahatma. The one who doesn't is Duratma. According to him, each and everyone must support the poor, otherwise they will become Duratma. He opposed caste system, he opposed untouchability, and he also opposed the idea of supremacy based on caste system. In this way, Swami Vivekananda was a great source for youngsters. In exam, we may expect question like this: explain how Swami Vivekananda was a source of inspiration for youngsters. Then you have to write all these points. Another important achievement or contribution of Swami Vivekananda was Chicago City Parliament of World Religion. He participated in Parliament of World Religions, which was held in the year 1893. The Western could understand the cultural richness of India with the help of speech delivered by him at Chicago City in Parliament of World Religions, which was held in the year 1893. He attracted the attentions of the listeners while speaking at Congress of Religion held at Paris in the year 1900. His speeches mirror his nationalist ideals. Here, before that meetings or before that Parliament of World Religions, he had visited Mysore as a guest of Chamaraja Wadiyar X. During that time, Mysore was ruled by Wadiyar, who was called Chamaraja Wadiyar X. As per the suggestions given by Swami Vivekananda, Chamaraja Wadiyar X started schools for untouchable children. Swami Vivekananda wrote books on Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. His thoughts provided importance to freedom struggle. He asserted that freedom includes social equality also. According to him, freedom also includes social equality. In this way, Swami Vivekananda, through his Ramakrishna mission, tried to reform Indian society. Let's move to another society, that is called Theosophical Society. Theosophical Society was founded by two persons, Madan, two person. One is Madam Blavatsky, another one is Colonel H.S. Alcott. They came to Adyar near Madras and established the head office of Theosophical Society in their 1886. The main aim of this Theosophical Society was to comparative study of various religions. It wanted to study the important points of various religions, various philosophies and science. Another important aim was to discover the indomitable spirit hidden in the human. Theosophical Society declared that universal brotherhood is very important. According to Theosophical Society, universal brotherhood is very important. The society took its basic principles from Hindu sacred scriptures like Veda, Upanishads, Sankhya Yoga, Vedanta philosophy and spread these basic principles. The society attempted to find solutions to present problems by studying the ancient Indian thoughts, philosophies, and theoretical ideals. Hence, Theosophical Society basically tried for the reformation of Hindu religion. Interestingly, foreigners took more interest in this process. Many foreigners became the members of this Theosophical Society. In this way, Madam Blavatsky and Colonel H.S. Alcott, they founded this Theosophical Society. The main aim of this society was to do a comparative study of various religions, philosophies and science. Another important aim was to discover the indomitable spirit hidden in the human. After this, Annie Besant, Irish lady, came to India. With the arrival of Annie Besant, she was an Irish lady. The Theosophical Society started to grow more. She came to India in the 1893. After her arrival, the movement of Theosophical Society started to grow more. She arrived in India as a member of the society. She became the member of Theosophical Society. She was born in the 1847 in London. She came to India in the 1893. She divorced her husband, who was a priest at an Anglican church, and became an active member of the society in 1889. She had knowledge of Vedanta philosophy. She advocated that Indian culture is far more superior to the Western culture, which is based on materialism. According to her, Indian culture is superior to Western culture because it is based on materialism. This movement was a reformation movement of Hinduism. She also did a comparative study of Hinduism and Buddhism. Now let us see the other important contributions of Annie Besant. Annie Besant was called Shweta Saraswati. She was called Shweta Saraswati because she translated Bhagavad Gita to English. It is considered as one of the major achievements of Annie Besant. She was called as Shweta Saraswati. She opened school for all. She wanted to give education for all. She started Central Hindu College at Benares in their 1898. Finally, the institution became a university due to the forethought of Madan Mohan Malaviya in their 1916. Annie Besant started Central Hindu College at Banaras Later, it became a university due to the efforts of Madan Mohan Malaviya. She started her own periodicals, two periodicals, Commonweal and New India. These two periodicals were started to initiate discussion on current problems and social issues. She started Home Rule League in the 1916 and initiated Home Rule movement in Madras region. The credit of creating religious reformation movement and a new sensibility for Hinduism in the early 19th century should go to Theosophical Society and its part and parcel Annie Besant. Annie Besant and Theosophical Society played very important role in reforming and improving Hinduism. She was an active member in freedom struggle and she became the first woman president of Indian National Congress. Annie Besant was the first woman president of Indian National Congress. You are going to learn about the establishment of Indian National Congress in lesson number 7. Here you must remember that Annie Besant was the first woman president of Indian National Congress. These are all about Theosophical Society and the contributions of Annie Besant. In exam, we may expect question like this. What were the reformation activities of Annie Besant? You must remember all these points. Let's move to Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam. This Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam was started by Sri Narayana Guru. It was started in the year 1903. The main aim of this Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam was the upliftment of Isava community of Kerala. This movement aimed at strengthening the backward and exploited communities. Narayan Guru, along with his companions, Dr. Palpu and Kumaran Asan, took the leadership of this movement. In this way, Sri Narayana Guru was the founder of this movement and he was helped by his companions Dr. Palpu and Kumaran Asan. During that time, the caste differences were too much in Kerala and there were many prohibitions in that place. During that period, all were not allowed to use facilities like tanks, roads, etc. They were barred from wearing footwear. Restrictions were there on women's dress also. These communities had to live without basic human rights. In order to address this issue, Sri Narayana Guru started Dharma Paripalana Yogam movement. Due to the various practices which prevailed in Kerala, in order to overcome those evils, this movement was started. According to Sri Narayana Guru, one caste, one religion, and one God for human beings. It was the basic idea of Sri Narayana Guru. According to him, education is the only path to achieve this. Through education, one could understand the importance of one caste, one religion, one God. He built temples specially for the backward communities. As they were denied entry into temples, Narayana Guru and his followers started Vaikam Satyagraha movement in the year 1924. The main aim of Vaikam Satyagraha was to demand entry for lower caste people in the Shiva temple at Vaikam. They wanted to give chance for the lower caste people in the Shiva temple at Vaikom. Later, due to all these efforts, due to all these reforms, Gandhiji, Periyar, the architect of self-respect movement, participated in Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam. The Satyagraha for entry of untouchables into Guruvayuru temple was a major incident. These are all about Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam and the contributions of Sri Narayana Guru. The last concept of this lesson, that is Periyar movement. By the beginning of 20th century, a non-Brahmin movement started in South India. The majority of non-Brahmins launched agitations demanding representation in government sector as per their population. They want to get representation in government sector according to their population. It became a major movement in many states later. Earlier it started in South India, later it spread to other parts of the country. The non-Brahminical communities opposed restrictions against them. This was possible due to the English education. The census reports published after 1870s provided a picture of their population. The Justice Party started in 1916, continued the movement in Tamil Nadu. Here, non-Brahmin movement became very famous. It took a new shape under the Justice Party. This became more radical. Self-respect movement led by E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar became a new force. Self-respect movement was started by E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. Ramaswamy Naikar came out of Congress in the year 1825 and he started this movement. This self-respect movement, self-respect league in 1926. E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar was also known as Periyar. He was called Periyar. Periyar means senior person. People call him as Periyar out of love. Periyar was born in Erode to a rich family. He believed that Congress is in favor of Varna system and started a new movement based on Dravida racial identity. He rejected the racial supremacy in the name of Aryan and Brahmin. He opposed racial supremacy. He said Tamil is language of Dravidians. He opposed Sanskrit language and literature. He gave importance to Tamil language. He opposed Sanskrit language. He also rejected Rama. Periyar rejected Rama as the Vedic leader and accepted Ravana as the Dravidian leader. Angered by a bad experience at Benares, he converted Sanskrit Rama and Ravana as cultural ideals and patronized Ravana. He gave importance to Ravana. He championed equality and criticized caste and gender-based discrimination. He participated in temple entry movement in 1924 held at Vaikom, Kerala. Along with Sri Narayana Guru, he participated in temple entry movement which was held in the year 1924. In the year 1939, he became the president of Justice Party. Dravida Kazhagam, he started an association called Dravida Kalagam. He also started an English magazine which is known as Revolt. An English magazine known as Revolt was started by Periyar. His full name E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar also known as Periyar, out of love by people. Even today, Periyar remains as an ideological symbol in Tamil Nadu politics. This is more evident in all the political parties of Tamil Nadu retaining the word Dravida with their names. For example, ADMK, All India Dravida Munnetra Kalagam, DMK Dravida Munnetra Kalagam. In this way, we can say that all the political parties of Tamil Nadu retained the word Dravida with their name. The ideological non-Brahminical movement started by C. Ayodhidas Pandit and T.M. Nair was turned into a cultural movement by Periyar. His life goal was to establish an equal society where there will be no inequality based on caste, religion, and gender. The main aim of Periyar was to establish an equal society. There will be no chance for inequality which is based on caste, religion, and gender. Dear students, in this video, you have watched about Aligarh Reformation Movement, Ramakrishna Mission, contributions of Vivekananda Theosophical Society, Annie Besant, Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam, and Periyar Movement. Textbook questions, extra questions, 1 mark and MCQ question links are available in the description. You can watch those videos by clicking on the links. Thank you for watching this video.